Should you carry a gun as a barber? That is the question. But before we answer those questions, there are a few things that are important. One, your state and local laws. Two, your barbershop owner and if he actually allows you to have a gun in the barbershop, because if something does go down and he says to the authorities that he wasn't supposed to have a gun because we have a policy and I told him as the owner of this barbershop that he shouldn't have a gun, and something were to go down, you could end up in trouble. And also, if you work in a suite and there may be a policy that they have once you sign the suite, maybe they don't have the 30-6 sign or 30-7 sign that applies to you in front of the building, which obviously you would have to follow those. But if maybe it's just a policy, I know a lot of people will say, hey, screw your policy, because hey, my life's more important than your silly policy. And I'm gonna be honest, I kind of agree. At the end of the day, if someone runs up in a suite and starts going on a killing spree, I'd rather die with it than without it. Now, to answer that question can be a little tricky, because you say to yourself, what gun should I carry as a barber? Now, as you can see, I'm wearing an Illusions cape. This is a large. I am not by any means Flacco the barber, but on my right hip, I have a Glock 43X with the 15-round magazine. On my left hip, I have a SIG P365, again, with the 15-round magazine. And tucked in my pants, I have a Mossberg 590 Shockwave pump action with double-aught buckshot. But as you see, I can be armed to a T, but is it necessary? Is it necessary for me to carry 3 firearms? No, it's not. Most people only carry 1, maybe they carry extra magazines, and that's all well and good. But the question is, why would you carry a gun as a barber? Now, for all of those disturbed people and people that love to see violence, carnage, mayhem, I will leave links to some videos in the description below of barbershops either getting robbed, someone getting shot in a barbershop, or just crazy things that are just happening in a barbershop. And honestly, a lot of these things could have been prevented if the barber had a gun, or if someone else had a gun. And in some of the videos you'll see someone else had a gun and, you know, took care of the situation. But unfortunately, sometimes this can happen in a barbershop. Now, of course, I don't recommend that you go working in a barbershop where you feel like you have to have a gun on you 24/7 and blah, blah, blah. Me personally, lately I have been carrying, and honestly, when it comes to carrying a firearm, obviously follow your local laws, get your concealed carry license, be legitimate out here. But I have been carrying one lately, 1, because I've been testing holsters, 2, because it's wintertime. This is jack season. When daylight savings changes in the wintertime, I hate it, because 1, it gets darker earlier, and then 2, it gets dark earlier. Case in point, when I leave this barbershop at 7 o'clock sometimes, or 6:30, it's dark outside. Of course, I'm here in the suite. I can't see what's going on out there. And so when it's time for me to leave, it's dark. Let me show you. Under normal circumstances, you can see this is light, but these aren't normal circumstances. When I'm leaving, it's dark. So there are a lot of things as a barber that I have to worry about when it's wintertime and it's dark this early. One thing I have to worry about is this little pillar right here. Someone could be hiding behind this pillar. Maybe someone could be hiding behind this bush. Maybe someone can be hiding behind this pillar. Maybe someone can be hiding off to the side, waiting for me to get off. And case in point, look at these guys with dreads getting out of the car. Look like some suspicious characters. I don't like the stereotype, but it is what it is. That is something I have to worry about when I leave this barbershop. Now, these windows are tinted, mind you, so at nighttime, it appears really darker than what it really is, only until you walk out the door. Once you walk out the door, it's a little bit brighter, but sometimes that can be too late, especially if someone's looking to rob you. Now, I know some of you are probably saying to yourself, no, but I only take electronic payments. I only take Cash App, PayPal, Apple Pay, Venmo, Zelle. I only take this, so I don't have cash. Here's the thing, allow me to enlighten you. A criminal doesn't know that. Most criminals don't understand this. And newsflash, most criminals think barbers carry tons of cash. Most criminals think barbers only take cash. So it doesn't matter what you know, it's about what the criminal thinks, what they perceive. And if they perceive you making a lot of money, they perceive that you have a lot of cash on you. They don't understand that, yeah, maybe this dude only has 20 bucks on him. And why would you risk going to jail for years and attempted murder possibly if something goes down or whatever for $20? I've seen robberies where the dude sticks a dude's up and he only gets $15 and the dude's like, you only got $15? At that point, the criminal's just practicing. At that point, it's practice. Why would you even rob? If you knew you were only gonna get $15 out of a robbery, the risk is not worth the reward. So for those of you, again, for those of you that think that, oh, I only take electronic payments, the criminal does not know that. Now, there are some days where all of my clients only pay in card or Cash App. And then there's some days I have clients that all they do is pay in cash. And then some days it's a mix. So me walking out of the barbershop, they're just looking at me as a target. They don't know, unless I was set up, of course, they don't know that, yeah, today he only accepted a bunch of cards today, so let's leave this guy alone. They're just looking at an opportunity. They're just looking at you as a target, someone who's vulnerable, someone who's weak, and they're looking to take advantage of you. And carrying a gun can prevent a lot of that, and paying attention to your surroundings can prevent a lot of that. As I showed you a few minutes ago, those areas, I always look at this every time I leave the barbershop. At night, when it's dark outside, I'm always looking at those weak spots when I leave this barbershop because I have no idea. I'm gonna be honest, this part of town, it's okay, but it's not the greatest. Things do happen, and I gotta be on the lookout because that's the last thing I want is to be taken advantage of, to be a target. Now, I've been robbed before, not sure if you have been robbed before. I would actually be kind of curious for you guys to leave your comments in the comments below if you've been robbed before as a barber, right? Been robbed before, and tell me the story. Like, was it a total loss, or did you get the drop on them? Like, what happened? Because this is something that it's Christmas time, we're still in this pandemic. People are claiming that they can't get jobs, they don't have money, and they're looking for you to be their personal bank. So I would suggest to not allow that to get the upper hand on these people and blow their damn brains out if you have the opportunity, if you can get the drop on them, because these people are looking to take advantage. And in my particular area, I see crime rising. Not meaning I predict. I see it. I see reports and things that are happening in this area, in the Dallas area. Just crime is just on the rise. Just all sorts of silly stuff. I see burglaries, robberies, home burglaries, all sorts of stuff. And this stuff is just on the rise. Just very, very weird. And I blame the pandemic. I blame the holiday season. You know, we just had Black Friday. Christmas is coming. It's getting dark earlier. So tell your loved ones, be safe. Don't be out here shopping at night. And if you are, be very careful. Be aware of your surroundings. Don't park with a bunch of cars and you know you got to get a bunch of kids in and out of the car. Don't park in such a tight area where no one can really see what's going on. Either park close to the front of the store or park in the back of the parking lot where you can at least see what's going on. And I do this all the time, guys, by the way. But to answer the question, should you carry a gun as a barber? I will leave that up to you. That is a subjective thing. Now, here's the thing. It's all good until it isn't. Just like those people that like to push back and say, oh, I don't have life insurance. Oh, I'll get it in a few years. Yeah, you might be right now, but in a couple years, you might not be. So you don't know when you're gonna die. You don't know when you're gonna get robbed. If you did, you would prevent it. So I would say err on the side of caution, be prepared. And especially, you know, if you don't have a gun in these times. Now, I don't know where you live. I live in the Dallas area. I don't know where you live. I don't know if crime is on the rise. I can almost bet that if you live in a major city, crime is probably on the rise. You are probably seeing an influx in crime and criminal activity and behavior in your city if you live in a bigger city. I can almost guarantee it. If you have a gun, kudos. If you don't have a gun, you might want to think twice about that. Especially, and again, follow your state and local laws, but if you are allowed to, I highly suggest that you get a firearm, start going to the range, If you never fired a gun, get lessons and start learning, because these people do not care. They don't care. They're just looking at you as a victim. You're just another notch in the belt, and they're just trying to hit a lick. That's it. They don't care about you, your family, nothing. Now, one might say, oh, if I get robbed, oh, I'll just give them everything and that's it. I'm not gonna fight back. Yeah, about that. I've seen robberies where the guy pulls out the gun and just starts shooting. So there's no, hey, I'll just give him everything and he'll just go away. No, it doesn't work like that. 1 + 1 does not equal 2 in a robbery. I've seen robberies where the criminals get what they want. They want more, but they're frustrated and they'll still shoot at you. I saw one recently where the dude's running away, shot at the dude. Does that make sense? You got everything, well, not technically everything that you wanted, but you got what you wanted. You got some items, you got some valuables, but in his frustration that he couldn't get more, he shot a round at the guy. Luckily he missed on his way to the car. Literally turned around, fired a shot at the dude. So there's no guarantees, guys. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. There are no guarantees when it comes to robberies. Things go left. You don't know the temperament of a criminal and how they feel in that moment. If they're on drugs, that plays a big part. So you might want to think again on, I'll just give them everything and the event will be over. I'll create a police report. Hopefully I'll catch the license plate. Good luck, okay? Don't take your chances. Be aware of your surroundings. If you can get the drop on someone, I highly recommend you giving them that one-way ticket to hell, because it's not fun being robbed. Speaking from experience, it's not a good feeling. And the time that I was robbed, what's funny about it is I saw it coming. But the thing was, I didn't have a gun. I wasn't of legal age to have a gun. And there was really nothing I could have done. I mean, technically, yeah, it is. I could have just ran away once I saw them drive by, but am I gonna run away every time a car drives by? That sounds just a little bit ridiculous. Allow me to share a story. So when I was younger, in my high school days, I used to skate back in the day. And me and some buddies, we decided on a Saturday, hey, let's go out, let's get all the cameras and let's go record a bunch of footage. So we're recording, we hit a few locations. Last location we hit was a church. From the church, our friend lived maybe a mile away. So we decided, hey, let's just walk to Aaron's house. So we make a left at a convenience / gas station. Now, as we make this left to go straight down to Aaron's house, like on this road, Aaron's house, straight down the road. And I see 2 or 3 Hispanic guys in the back of the store just drinking. And I'm like, okay, didn't think anything of it. Walk down the road. Now there's a 4-way intersection. It's not a light, but it's a 2-way stop. Traffic as goes this way doesn't stop. And I notice as we get close to that intersection, I look back and I see these guys hop in the car. Again, didn't think anything of it because I'm like, oh, okay, I guess they're just ready to go now. So they start coming our way. And I'm like, okay, this is interesting. And still, because I'm with my buddies, I'm with, I think 2 or 3 of my buddies. I think 2, maybe 3, I don't know, I can't remember. But they went by us and they made a right at that intersection. Again, still didn't think anything of it. What I started to think something of it is when that car immediately stopped after he made the right, a guy hops out with a gun in his hand, runs towards us, puts the gun to my head, takes all of the camera bags and all our equipment, and we got robbed. Not fun at all, guys. I mean, thankfully, none of us died, none of us were injured or hurt or anything like that, but in that time, it sucked. It sucked being a victim because at that point, I borrowed this camera from one of my mom's friends. Then, because it was a total loss at that point, yeah, we filed a police report and dude, I tell you what, dude, the police sometimes are not a help at all. Now, I remember specifically, this guy had a beer in his hand, gun to my head, and he finished the beer, I remember, once he got done robbing it, and he threw the beer. The funny thing about it was a glass bottle, mind you. When he threw the beer on the ground, it didn't break. It didn't shatter, nothing. I was like, that's kind of weird. I was like, Now, when the police get there after we called the cops, I was like, hey, we're like, hey, he was drinking this beer bottle, it dropped, but it didn't, maybe you can get some fingerprints. They didn't give a damn about no fingerprints. They weren't trying to solve this crime. And this is what I'm telling you guys. Sometimes the police just don't care, because they could have caught this guy. Just get the fingerprints off this bottle and find out who this is. They don't give a damn. So just going to show and tell you, in that scenario, if I had a gun, oh, I would have completely had to drop on that fool. Oh, it would have been R.I.P. Send the Undertaker, slow singing, foul bringing, and all that stuff. That would have been the easy work. But it's not the case for everyone. So you may want to think twice when it comes to getting robbed, carrying a gun as a barber, because I'm just here to tell you, carrying a gun is not that uncomfortable. And I know that's what some of you might think. Oh, you know, I don't want to have this thing in my waist. It's uncomfortable or whatever. Whether you would carry this appendix style, like let's say if I slide this cig over, I'm carrying this appendix style, no one will ever know. You're not the wiser. Obviously, again, I'm not Flocko the Barber. You can't see or tell that I have these guns underneath my barber smock. Now, you know, most barber smocks are a little bit bigger. I like mine a little bit more fitted. But again, even in this fitted form, you probably never noticed that I had the 2 guns, 3 with the shotgun included, that these were on my waist. But, and when I'm cutting hair, I usually carry it here on my hip rather than appendix, because I notice sometimes I have to bend over and I feel the butt of the gun, and I can feel the slide like digging into my stomach a little bit. And of course, this also depends on the holster and the size of you and what you find comfortable. Me personally, I found it more comfortable to be here on my hip, and hey, if I need to draw, boom, I can take this gun out and be right into action. Very simple. But for you, it's all different. Whatever you find comfortable. But of course, get a proper holster. That makes a big difference in comfort of the gun, ease of the gun, and everything. And where you carry it, that's just all a personal preference. So I hope this helped you guys really stir up a conversation with you on whether or not you should carry a gun, or you want to carry a gun, or maybe I've changed your mind on, oh man, it's not a bad idea. Maybe it's something I should think about. But of course, take all the proper measures. Get you some legal insurance. Is very cheap for firearm insurance, just in case you ever have to use your firearm. I hope not, right? We're not vigilantes out here, but if something were to happen, you would rather be prepared than not. So hope that answers some of your questions. Hope this stirred up a good conversation with you. I'd like to hear your feedback on this in the comments below. This has been your man, I Do It, signing out. I'll holler.